Dating. Hello. Hi, guys. Hi. Jack. Hello, Jack. Yeah, I'm fine. I would say, what do you call this? I'm not that sleepy anymore, but at the same time, it's kind of like, hold on, I just want to like fucking blink. Hold on. I'm just going to like fix my settings first. I want to like blink because I'm not playing a game and right now, boop. See? Mm, mm. I'm a blinking. Mm. Oh my god, my eyes. Oh, my eyes. Shit. What the fuck? Ah, my eyes. My eyes hurt. What the fuck? Ah, okay. Okay. I'm trying to like blink. I'm trying to like fucking blink. And it's just like it's like fuck it's like screwing my right eye for some reason. Ah shit. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Yesterday is kind of stressful is because okay, life story time. Okay, life story before we start doing some reacts. Okay, so here's the problem earlier. Actually, I'm kind of like a little bit stressed, but at the same time relieved. Okay, here's the main point why. Here's the fucking main point why I'm stressed. Like maybe like hours ago. Let's say um somewhere yesterday on your end because it's like PM on your end. So our CEO did contact me. Okay, our CEO did fucking contact me, and he's just asking, okay, how can I share some Microsoft Teams link to be shared to Mancom is a managers committee. Okay, so I created like a new manual. Okay, I created a new manual. He has the manual from my coworker, but when I look at it, it looks shit. Okay, it looks fucking shit. But the content is good, but the content needs a little bit work on. Okay, fine. I revised it. I revised it like somewhere 18 pages at least. 18 pages with a clickable table of contents. So if you click the table of contents, whatever title it is, suddenly you will go to that page. Then I revise it. Okay, he asked me, he doesn't want to get the link from the OneDrive. He doesn't want to get the link. Okay, he doesn't want to get the link. I don't know. Okay, maybe he doesn't have time. Maybe he's lazy. I don't fucking know. Okay, he doesn't want that. So I told him on the WhatsApp, okay, I'm going to email you a short summarized instruction because I cannot put it on the WhatsApp because it's so fucking hard to format it on the WhatsApp. Okay, I just like put it there. I cannot fucking put it there. Hmm. Email summary on how to give anyone access on the meeting so that only people with the link can access that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, complete. Instruction with the manual. That is like I compiled it on a PDF. Fine. Okay, send. After 1 hour, after 1 hour, suddenly he just like told me again, oh, what you instructed doesn't work. It was just like yesterday. I feel like fucking frustrated. Frustrated that I want to cry. Most people fear him because he tends to get angry. Okay, he tends to get fucking angry. But for me, no. I'm not scared. I'm not scared that time. In fact, I'm so fucking pissed that I want to like fucking cry that time because my instruction is so fucking clear. It's summarized. It's straight to the point. There is no extra settings. I put a bold with the red on a certain points that you need to do this, you need to do that. That's it. Thank you for the stretch. Thank you for the stretch. I do appreciate that. Anyhow, okay. Do you want background music? I'm going to add some background music right now. I just want like sharing a life story way more epic right now. Thank you for the stretch. Okay, I kind of like stretch my back. I don't really stretch like a normal person. I tend to like stretch my spinal cord. So there, this is the reason why I don't make much sound when I'm going to stretch because most of my issues comes from my back. It's not from the arms. It's not from the legs. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm just going to like try to um what do I call this? Okay, I'm just making the music way badass a little bit. Okay, Charlotte, Charlotte, welcome to the stream. Okay, I'm going to continue the live story right now. Okay, I managed to like I need to like lower the volume a little bit. Okay. Um anyhow, when it comes to like I instructed him. The instruction is so on point. It's so summarized that anyone can understand it. He just said to me, "Oh, what you're saying is not the same you instructed." He didn't even follow the instruction. I'm so fucking pissed that time. Maybe not pissed, like more of a frustration because most of the people are scared of him. But for me, I'm not scared. It's just like my reaction is like, "What the fuck, dude? What the fuck?" Yeah, my reaction is like, "What the fuck?" And I just like told him, "Okay, fine, just like copy paste it, give the link to me because this is a higher up meeting, so I can like make the conversation private, send it to my email." And when I check it, it doesn't fucking work. And on last minute, before I totally log out from my work, he said to me, "It is fixed." And it's just like, dude, you wasted my one sweet ass hour just to like fix your problem. And you're just like going to say, "Oh, it is fixed." What the fuck? Okay. So yeah, I'm a little bit stressed that yesterday. Not to mention it doesn't fucking help that I'm like we'll be solo this 2 weeks. So by next PR shift, I'm solo. On Wednesday, I'm solo again. So this is why I'm a little bit stressed, but yeah. Oh, anyhow, guys, oh yeah, I do have like a Jack Daniels here on my table. So how are you today, guys? Since you asked me how's my day, so share yours. So yeah, how's your day, guys? Because first of all, for my it's not really my starting week work week do fucking suck. It really fucking sucks to be honest. I cannot even do much job yesterday. My killer Kensworth has Jack Daniels Tennessee skin. Actually, it's not only Tennessee skin. I'm planning to like have a pistol in front of my table because okay, I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain my lore of my room. Okay, this is my room. This is my lore of the room. So my table is also my workshop for my how to clean my gun, how I assemble explosives. This is my table. So basically, it's not only my streaming table, it's also my workshop. Because if you're going to like notice on the room, I have like a shelf, a sofa, a bed, and one chair and one table. So basically, most of my tools is under the table. I need to like fetch it. I need to like clean my gun, sharpen my knife, create some bomb, maybe some gadgets at least. So most of my soldering iron is also under here. Oh yeah, thank you for the hydrate. Now what I wish today. Thank you for the hydrate. What I what I kind of wish for today. Uh, what what I kind of like wish for today is I hope that when I'm solo shift later, I could have eaten at least. Here's the problem. I just like ate cup noodles like an hour ago, and to be honest, as much as yummy, it's not fulfilling. It's like you're eating like example, it's your lunch, and you're just like eating a small cup of cup noodles, and it's not enough, and you would have no energy to last 9 hours of duty. And especially that I do tend to extend when it comes to solo shift is because I need to like pass the CCTV report to the client, and it takes me like additional 1 hour just to like finalize it. And yeah, this is why I kind of hate solo shifts that much, especially if the leave of my teammate. Example, I have like shift partner, and he's going to say, Nat, I need to take a leave because of this reason. And as much as I'm not really happy with that, but at the same time, I need to like say yes, is because it's a legitimate reason. It's a legitimate reason, guys. You cannot just like okay, if you're a boss, okay, if you're a boss, or let's say a manager or a supervisor, never stop someone to leave, even if it's like inconvenient for you. First of all, it's kind of like a dick move if we're going to like stop them to leave from a job because of emergency reason. Number two is that they will lose your respect if we're going to say stop them because of your convenience, and you don't fucking want that, guys. I'm just being honest with you. You don't fucking want that they lose respect of you, and not to mention that it will make you look bad if you're going to stop them. So I just like said yes, despite it will inconvenience me really bad. I didn't say no, and I just like let I say to him, yeah, your leave is approved. Despite I know that, oh shit, it's way too. Okay, I cannot hear my voice actually. Uh, anyhow, despite that, it's way too late to declare that, oh, I'm going to leave because of my mother and that. It's just like unannounced. Okay, I didn't expect that. There is like no notice. Last minute, he would just say, "Oh, I'm going to take a leave." Right. So, and I just like asked him like two questions. That okay, first, is it because I need to verify because some of the people do abuse our leave system. I'm not kidding about it, Charlotte and Jack. I'm not fucking kidding about it. Some people do will say that, "Oh, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. I have problem this, problem that." And when we noticed that, when someone did investigate, because this is a recurrent problem, someone lied. Someone did fucking lie, and it happened like year ago. He said that he has like power issue, etc., etc. So we did notice that it is fucking suspicious. So we sent someone nearby him to check on him, and he's not saying the truth. That's the fucking problem. He's not saying the fucking truth, and he just like fucking lied that, oh, I have a power issue in the area. And the funny part is that one of our coworkers is that in the same area too. And when my boss asked him, is there a power issue? No, there is not. There is no announcement. So someone investigated. So the guy fucking lied. Someone, the guy fucking lied, guys. And he got terminated because of that. And just to let you know, it affected their operation because of his action. First of all, we assigned him on a certain shift that we need him. And he just like said, "Oh, I'm going to emergency leave," something like that. And suddenly he would just like disappear with a fucking bad excuse. Holy shit. I hate that. It's so fucking hard to it's not only hard to run, especially if you're like near on the front line and you notice that your teammate is not around and you're not ready to be solo most of the time. It sucks. Yeah, yeah, you're correct about that, Charlotte. It's AWOL. It's technically AWOL. I cannot say it's leave. It's because nobody it's not truthful at the not at the same time it's very last minute. You need to like declare it at least like a day before if it's like emergency leave. Technically he just like tell it or before his shift. Like imagine that. You know, imagine that if we're like in office, do you think that we're working from home? and you're going to say to your boss, sir, I'm sick. There's no explanation. There's like no fucking explanation. I'm going to take a leave, and he's going to do it every fucking week. Imagine that. He will do that every fucking week. And of course I will say that's an AWOL for me. Yeah, that's a fucking AWOL. But there's a times that they have an issue, and in fact, here's the thing, um I'm the kind of person that has sympathies to a person. So if I notice that his problem is recurrent and he just like takes a leave out of nowhere, I would advise, I will talk to the person that, dude, why not like take a leave for like 2 weeks at least. I will tell it to him, because here's the problem. If you're going to like let him take a leave emergency, here's the problem. It's hard to allocate manpower. In management side, it's so fucking hard. You don't know where to put the people there. You don't know where to put people. And imagine that you're only two on the shift and you're just like alone. It's so fucking hard to run operation on one shift only. One fucking shift. And I'm handling like 5 tasks, 6 tasks, 7 tasks, 8 tasks for a person. And usually, normally, you can just like handle 3 tasks at most for 8 hours work week. Minimum. I handle 6 or 7. It's so fucking hard. This is like it's way too stressful for me. So I just like tend to tell the person that you have a problem, fine. Why not take 1 week or 2 weeks leave? That's okay. So sometimes other people do it, sometimes it's not. So they're not listening. They're causing more problems than it should. Another thing, if it it needs them like 1 week, 1 month, that's okay. So I'm going to tell my manager that, oh, hey, I think we need to put him on or her on sabbatical or medical leave. And basically, they will just approve it that okay. And I'm going to tell the person again that, oh, create some formal email that you will apply for sabbatical. That's it. Problem solved. I mean, sure, it will lower our manpower. We have like minus three people in total, not terminated, but on indefinite leave. So imagine that. Indefinite leave, indefinite leave. Well, yes, at least Jack did point that out. You're correct about that, Jack. So basically, it's like similar to mutiny, but I cannot say mutiny if there is a medical or let's say legitimate family reason. We don't, guys, in our company culture, we can't encourage family tradition. Because first of all, our company is based in Singapore, and not to mention our CEO is hard what do you call this, has Chinese heritage, so it's kind of encouraged that you have like family time together with your family members. I think I'm the only one of the people there that is like not traditional. Is because first of all, I don't have a partner. I don't have a partner. I don't have a kid, and despite the pleas of my relatives, my dad, and some of my bosses, they're saying that I need to get a partner. I don't listen to them. I just don't fucking listen to them. Chick Fil A. Yeah, just like Chick Fil A actually. Anyhow, I just like told them that I'm not into the family tradition, responsibility. It's not my kind of stuff, you know. Um my bosses did kind of like accept it, but at the same time I think the only person who doesn't fucking accept this would be my dad. Okay, let's go to the topic of my dad. So since I didn't discuss it last time, and this might be contributing why I'm like so fucking pissed off sometimes when I'm streaming. Okay, here's the problem. My dad is a fucking homophobic person. Yeah, that's true. He's saying that he accepted gays, but at the same time he's like saying backhanded stuff towards gay people, and that's the problem. I'm not exactly that gay, okay? I would admit I'm more of a bi because I do have like I still have attraction towards females. At the same time, I do really like transgenders for some reason. So he just like did some backhanded stuff to people because I did admit to him that I'm LGBTQ, okay? LGBT. So I told him that, and he said to me, he just like asked me like a question. Imagine that since we're going to react on Warhammer, he's like no different of from a fucking inquisitor from Imperium of Man. He's no different from a fucking inquisitor. That's the exact one that it reminded me. You're just like going to admit something. It's like similar to a fucking heresy to someone else. Hachi! Hi! Oh, hi. Hi, white haired lady. Welcome to the stream. Maya? Maya, by the way, Hachiko is one of the V singer here. So, okay, I'm going to like do some shout out. Hachi, Hachiko. Honey. Actually, guys, you need to like check out Hachi is because okay, I'm going to explain. Hachi is one of the V singers. If you know Hololive, there is like a lot of V singers there, right? So some VTubers do tend to have like karaoke or let's say singing or music video tribute. Um, yeah, they tend to have that, especially on Hololive, Vsojo. So Hachi is one of those kind of people that is doing that. Yes, I would recommend guys to follow Hachi. So I think Hachi, just one question. What time do you frequently do your karaoke? So that they can know, maybe they can take notes at least. So also thank you by the way for dropping by and how are you today, Hachi? Guys, if I'm pogging, okay, actually behind the camera I'm vaping, okay? I'm fucking vaping is because actually if you don't know, I have a nicotine addiction last time. I have nicotine addiction. Uh, that is awkward. Actually, yeah, that I have a nicotine addiction. Okay, just to say it mildly, I do smoke 3 packs. I think 3 packs a day. I think 3 packs a day. So I consume at least like 2 rims per week. 2 fucking weeks. 2 fucking weeks. Per rim. Rim is like 20. Total of 20 cigarette boxes. 20. So I'm consuming like two of it per week. Actually, you're okay. I'm aware that you're older than me, but 12 cans of energy drink, you can like beaten me on that because I can like consume at least 5 cans of energy drink, and the 5 cans is like fucking me up totally. It's how do I say this? How can you like survive with 12 cans? Most people do freaking. Actually, I'm going to like share a story about energy drink, okay? But I'm not saying that you guys need to stop because I'm also doing that. I have like energy drink too on my ref. Um, the problem with the energy drink is that it's good for 1 or 2 shots. Because it's like equivalent of like 10 coffee at least. But the problem is if you're going to drink more than two, here's the problem, okay? I did remember one of my classmates did drank like fuckloads of energy drink. He's awake for like 3 days. He fucking collapsed in front of me on university, and he just like fucking died. He just like fucking died immediately. He just like dropped dead like a sack of potatoes. And the diagnosis is that he has like a stroke and a heart attack. And there's another guy on our university did the same shit, and this time he has a heart attack. And when I heard from the rumors, he drank like seven, no, 7 or 6, I think, 6 or 7. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I really like the cheeky breaky. Okay, I'm going to explain why I put it there. Is because I fucking love stalker games. Okay, I fucking love stalker games. Okay, I'm going to explain. Stalker is a Ukrainian game that is like set on Chernobyl. So there, the cheeky breaky meme came from I think. Hold on, na. The cheeky breaky came from a bandit. Okay, okay. I do remember the faction now. It came from a bandit. Then they're saying like Anna cheeky breaky, and they just like shoot at the loners, or let's say at the military for some reason. And they tend to say that, and I am blood. I do remember their voice line because it's so fucking memorable. Yes, Hachi. Hachi kind of no, but it's more of like I am blood, something like that. I do remember their voice line because first of all, every fucking time that I'm near the bandit and they're fighting, most of the quotes from stalker games, bandits are most memorable for me. I don't know, maybe it's just like they're so funny, but lore wise they're not funny because they're like literal psychopaths. I'm saying that because I think they engage in most heinous ways in stalker. There's some bandits, they're just like a literal mafia that is like extorting the free stalkers, but that's it. So I don't think that not all of them, but some of them are so insane. I'm not I'm not kidding about that. Some of them are so fucking insane that even like killed their own bandit fellows and attack other factions. I think they just like became a renegade more likely. So renegade is another faction of bandits, but they're like the rejects. Rejects means technically they're just like kicked out from the bandit faction. They became worst of the worst. So basically, when I see renegades, I tend to like shoot them in the face. So yeah, I okay. Okay, let's stop the who freaking farted, man? Ah oh god. Ah, why? Why did you do that, Jack? Why? Oh, I kind of got blinded because of that. It's just whoa. Hmm. Whoa. 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 Mm. Okay. Okay, I'm going to explain now. Okay, I'm going to get back. Okay, let's go back to my topic of my dad. So basically, he tends to like have a backhanded insult. That is like disguised as a compliment, disguised as encouragement. Okay. Uh, yeah, he just like said, "Yeah, I can accept you," something like that, and suddenly he just go full inquisitor on my ass. It's just like I'm not happy with that shit. It's not cool. Guys, it's not so fucking cool. If we're going to like say I kind of expect this. He can just like say to me directly. I don't really want to like fake things. I hate people faking things in front of me. It sounds so hypocritical. You should have like said it to me that Nat. Okay, just call me Miko, okay? Because my Miko is part of my real name actually. So Miko, here's the problem. I don't accept that you're a gay person, so I cannot accept. That's it. That's the only thing that I can hear. I don't really want to him to say that. Oh, I need to question you. Oh, do you want to suck dick or something? Like, dude, like this is so fucking unnecessary. Like, are you trying to dehumanize me? What? And he just like said to me that other gay people were devils. Yeah, traditional stuff. So it's so negative. It's so fucking negative to me. It's sounding negative that he can just like say to me directly, I don't accept gay people. That's it. You don't need to elaborate more. Oh, at least I know, okay, fine. Be that way. Right? It's not insulting, but at least I know the truth already. Done. And he just kind of forced me to get a dating app or something and find some girls and just like keep bothering me that he wants to have a daughter or something. Yeah, as usual, he just keeps saying to me that to the point that I don't want to talk to him like for almost one month and a half now because of that incident. I got a little bit fucking pissed off at him. Yeah, it's not cool. You're just like violating my choice. So I'm not against that having kid, but at the same time, I'm not even like fucking ready yet. No shit, I'm not ready yet. I'm not really ready to like fucking sacrifice what I love to do. So it sucks. Yeah. Oh, villain of the legend. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. Jack, you can get some breakfast, okay? Because I'm going to start Warhammer right now. Also, Hachi, thank you for the dropping by. Okay. Hold on, going to check something. Oh shit! I go, I go. Oh, wait, you kind of like spooked me. So, you kind of like freaky spooked me. You kind of like freaking spooked me, dude. It's just like yeet, something like that. Oh, how are you today, villain of the legend? Okay, I'm going to switch my stuff here. Okay, let's start. Okay, actually, the stream. Okay, I'm just going to discuss about the stream right now. Let's see. I'm going to discuss this. So I want to do some Warhammer reacts. I don't know some of you if familiar with it. Yeah, I did like shared my life story like minutes ago since I ate like 39 fucking minutes of my life already for sharing something. So I shared some life story. It kind of sucks actually. It kind of sucks. But as much as I don't like some few things. Okay, hold on. I need to like move myself here. I'm a little bit way to the right. Whoop. Oh, I'm here now. So as much as some of my parts of my life do fucking suck, okay, I would admit that I'm still in good position. Why? Because my life now versus in the like few years ago, it's a little bit better because you have like freedom, or let's say what do you want to do? I mean shit. Recently I can like eat some luxurious food. I can get some caviar for myself. I can like get some steak. I cannot even do that like years ago. Hell, I can even like stay awake for 24 hours without consequence or punishment from anyone else. So I don't really want to like say my life is bad. Okay, I would say it's also fucking good, but at the same time, it's not the way that I expected it to be. Okay, let's start the stream.
I never wanted this. I never wanted
By the way, this guy is Horus. Okay, I'm going to explain to you some few basic Warhammer concepts, which, what, where, why. Because I cannot even like, what do you call this? I can explain it to you. So actually, guys, Warhammer 40k universe is interesting. Actually, I'm going to be honest with you guys. So how do I explain this? How do I fucking explain this? Warhammer 40k is better than Star Wars because it's so fleshed out or written. It's similar to Star Wars Legends. Okay, if you read the books, if you read the fucking books of Star Wars, most of the lore comes from the book. It's not from the episode 1 to 7 or 8 or 9. Actually, I don't really count the sequels. Okay, sequels do fucking suck. What I'm saying is that episode 1 to 6, it lacks. How do I admit this? I might be a heretic, okay, but how it's not that as fleshed out when it comes to lore. When you read the books, when you read the fucking books, most of the lore is there, and it's like totally explained by different authors, and I fucking love it. So this is why Warhammer 40k reminds me, even if it's like a tabletop game, it fucking reminds me of Star Wars Legends. This is why I kind of like love it for the first time. Not to mention that it's so fucking brutal. I'm not kidding about that. Star Wars is more of a pew 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 pew, laser laser laser. You don't see blood. You don't see. You just like seeing heroic Jedi chopping someone else or droids. You don't see that in Warhammer. You have like fuck tons of enemy killing each other. There is like less of an alliances. In Star Wars, there are more alliances. Here, it's not. Every fucking Tuesday, okay, it's a metaphor. It's not every. It's not. I'm not saying it's every Tuesday. Okay, it's like every Tuesday. There is like Imperial of Man tends to like having a different sort of enemies, whether it be orcs, whether it be it chaos, whether it be eldars, dark eldar, Tau, or any fucking alien or let's say human races. Yeah, that includes themselves to like rebelling governors. I think it's not governors too. But just to add to is that they're also fighting Necrons and space bugs called Tyranids. And Tyranids is the original Zergs. Okay. Anyhow, let's continue the clip.
Together we banished the ignorance of old night. But you betrayed me. You betrayed us all.
Okay, I'm going to explain who attacked this guy. So let's go back here.
Betrayed us all. You betrayed us. You betrayed me.
Okay, this guy okay, this guy in an armored suit. Okay, not this guy. This guy. I'm going to explain if you're not familiar with Warhammer 40k. So basically, these guys are called Space Marines. Okay, they are like if you know Master Chief from Halo, and add more extra organs, add more extra superhuman shit than Master Chief, and you get a Space Marine. And Space Marine is like 8 foot taller. No shit. If we're going to compare Master Chief versus a Space Marine, Master Chief is a little bit smaller. I mean, Doom Guy is a little bit higher, taller than Master Chief. But if we're going to compare them to Space Marine is 8 foot tall, super soldier. And if we're going to talk about armor, if you notice their armors, right, it looks like bulky or something. It's called a power armor. This power armor is so fucking strong they can like tank some tank size round. They can absorb 50 fucking BMG, sometimes autocannons, and it can rip off ordinary humans. These guys, even if it penetrated their armor, they are like still fucking living. And just to add about the Space Marine, okay? This is an introduction, but we can go to the Space Marine part later, and especially the traitor Space Marine, or let's say the chaos empowered Space Marine. So, um, exactly, I don't Exactly. So Space Marines are walking tanks. This is why in Warhammer fans do call them walking tanks. But remember, they're not slow as tanks. Okay. Here's the thing. In Warhammer, Space Marines there are so fucking fast. They are on par with Master Chief's movement, or let's say the way he fights. Master Chief is so fucking fast. Okay, they're just like slowing it down for cinematic reason, but actually, Master Chief do fight faster than a human eye can perceive. Second, he can run fast. Third, he has like a combat precognition or something like that. He can sense the incoming danger. It's the same with the Space Marines too, but it's way better. Why? They can run on a fucking armor. This armor is almost heavy. It's like a little bit almost as heavy as APC, less than that because APC is so fucking heavy. Imagine APC, but it's walking APC and it's running at you way faster than a fucking cheetah. Imagine that. And it's charging at you with a heavy ass chainsword. And bang! Imagine that they can even like chase a fucking 4x4. Yes, in theory it worked. Even on some of the lures, they can even like what do you call this? Chase a fucking vehicle. They are that fast. Also, just to take note, they can block incoming projectiles or dodge it. I'm not kidding about that. I can show you the Astartes why they can block or dodge a fucking incoming rocket launcher, bullets, and etc. They are just like so good. Their reflexes is so fucking good. It's way better than Master Chief. They can like you know Jedi stuff, get a sword or chainsaw, like tap, 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 tap. And you can just like swap some bullets in the air. They can do that too. Third is they're so superhuman. They're way stronger as Captain America, but to be honest, Spider-Man is way stronger than Space Marines. Okay, I'm going to be honest with that. But I would say they are equivalent. Their strength equivalent is strength equivalent is almost the same with Luke Cage from Marvel with the steroids. I'm not calling Luke Cage with the steroids. Okay, it's just that times two uh times two of that guy. So basically, they can flip a tank. They can just like punch through a wall. They can just like rip open a hatch. This is how Space Marines are strong in armor. Even in without armor, yeah, without armor, they can just like destroy a human being. I'm not kidding about that. They can like destroy a fucking human being. They can just like rip a man into half, just like a fucking doom guy. They can like explode someone's head with a clap, bang, clap. They can like punch through the rib cage. Yes, there is like a what do you call this? There is like comic for it. The Space Marine without armor, he just like fought off a hordes of cultists by himself, without an armor, without a weapon, hand to hand combat. The guy fucking died. Those guys fucking died. They didn't even like fucking last long.
You
Imagine with the
betrayed
armor.
me. You
That's it.
betrayed us all. You stole power from the gods and lied to your sons. Mankind has only one chance to prosper. If you will not seize it, then
I
I
will.
will.
Holy shit! I really like the bottle.
So let it be war.
Okay. I know that some of you guys wondering why the Space Marine fucking died. First of all, they're firing a bolter. Okay, bolter shells is I think hold on. 0.75 caliber. I'm going to research this. I'm going to show it to you how big the bolter shells. Bolter shells is the ammo of the guns they're using. Bolter shell. Because you noticed that earlier that someone did got shot on the face. They're wearing a heavy ass armors, right? And if you're going to look at this on the if we're going to look at this, The comparison size of a bolter shell, this looks like this shit. It's almost the same size. Actually, the ammo for it is a little bit smaller than how do I explain this? It's a little bit smaller than a grenade launcher, but at the same time, due to the lore inconsistency, it's a little bit smaller, but I would say it's almost the same size of a grenade launcher ammo. But still, if it hits you, it can penetrate the fucking armor. Yes, even as heavy as APC armor or tank armor. It depends. If they have like a reactive armor, I think it would not penetrate. But this shit penetrates as a fucking armor. And the armor of the Space Marines is not an ordinary steel plating or some shit like that that we use in the modern times. It's how do I explain this? They're using an equivalent of like strongest metal in Marvel, and this shit penetrates a lot, especially on the weak points. If you're like going to notice on the right side, it's bolter shell that is a heavy bolter, and this is more of equivalent of it's more of almost equivalent of a grenade launcher ammo, and this baby fires heavier rounds and heavy bolter. If we're going to like show it to you, it's like what do you call this? It's equivalent of like a light machine gun or let's say heavy machine gun that military uses. Usually, Imperial Guard tends to use it as an emplacement, while Space Marines or let's say people from let's say an ordinary humans that can lift that, Space Marines or someone with Power Armor Plus, humans that is like way too strong, they can like handle this and use it like a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that shit that you saw earlier, they're firing that round versus other people. Imagine if you're like wearing a fucking plate carrier and this shit hits you. And yes, your fucking upper body will explode in a fucking half. I'm not kidding about that. And look what happened to the Space Marine earlier. If you saw that, let's go back here. He got fucking
Let it be more.
smashed. He got like fucking smashed earlier.
So
Boom. See? See? He got shot through the neck. Imagine that. And if we're going to like open the helmet, the hole in the neck is way bigger than you will expect. If the 50 BMG hits you, it will explode your other parts, right? Or let's say 762 or say 556. There is a hole, okay? There is a hole. But this one, it will fucking explode. And I'm going to show you the Astartes video because I'm going to break it down for you guys.
so let it be more.
Okay, so if you notice that they have lightsaber thingy, it's not a lightsaber, it's called a power weapon or power sword. So power sword is basically there's like two stuff. So the power sword, just to like explain it layman terms, there is like two versions of it. One is warp powered. So warp is spiritual energy that you can channel if you're a psychic. So in Warhammer 40k terms, it's called psychers. Second is that another thing about the power swords is that it has like monomolecular bullshit that how do I say this? It can activate if we're going to use that, and it will look like a fucking lightsaber, and it can fucking cut through. Okay, I'm not joking about this. It can fucking cut through to anything. Use that. You can cut through to the heaviest armor that is available. Bang! It can cut through like a fucking butter. It doesn't bounce, and not to mention that it can like fry someone's insides off using this sword. And yes, this is the equivalent of lightsaber, and usually higher ranking officials in Warhammer, or let's say some certain Space Marines or Psychers, do fucking tend to use this. And officials in Warhammer, I would say commissars, do fucking use this one. They usually use this, but this is so fucking rare because it's hard to manufacture. But I will discuss it in soon about why certain things in Warhammer cannot manufactured way faster. Okay, but I'm going to give you a tip, guys, because bureaucracy. Number two is because they don't adapt anymore. They don't have innovation. Innovation. They're like so fucking stagnant, religious hip shit, something like that.
From the skies of terror to the galactic rim.
The one that you saw earlier. Okay, hold on. Another notable shit that this one is called drop pods. Okay, usually space marines, aside from, actually they have two methods of inserting into heart of the enemy. One is teleportation, but teleportation is way more difficult to explain, and it will take me time to explain that shit how it's done. So drop pods is a little bit easier. First of all, they have a ship in the orbit and they drop the drop pods. Okay, no pun intended. And basically, when they drop this shit, there is like a fuck tons of space marines within those, and this is the way of their transport of the atmosphere. Okay, it's not on the land atmosphere, so they're going to drop so fucking hard that any mortal man inside it can get destroyed because of gravity, and not to mention the force of impact. This is a space marine. They're like literal superhuman. They're like master chief of steroids. Steroid master chief. Okay, imagine that. And it can drop into heads of the enemies, smash them apart with the impact. And suddenly, when the drop pads will open, especially they have machine guns on that drop pads. Okay, there is a machine gun on some of the parts. They can clear the area with that shit. Second is that they can like fucking deploy, and they can like wreck up shit. This is why this shit is so fucking efficient for a space marine. And this is why some of the mortals are so fucking scared when facing them, is because this shit happens. This drop pod happens most of the time. This is their usual way to deploy when they are like doing some, what do you call this, back up to a certain planet. And if you're like an ordinary human being and you see this shit, you gotta like run, because you would not last long fighting a fucking space marine unless you have a melta bomb or something. Melta bomb is an anti-tank weapon that is like what do you call this? A grenade that is, or explosives that can like destroy tanks. And yes, you can last long a space marine, but he will kill you first.
Galactic rim.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
The galactic rim.
If you if you see this is also power weapon. So it's called power axe. So similar with power sword. It's the same shit.
Let the seas boil. Let the stars fall. Though it takes the last drop of my blood, I will see the galaxy freed once more. And if I cannot save it from your failure, Father, then let the galaxy burn.
Holy shit! I love the closing speech of Horus. Actually, this okay, I'm going to like show it to you guys. So
Galaxy burn.
okay, this is fucking Horus. If you see my title, the reason why I cited with Horus, it's not because of like, oh, chaos. Okay, no shit. I'm fucking chaos. Okay, I'm fucking chaos. I fucking worship corn, but damn. Okay, I'm going to explain what is this. So basically, Horus is one of the, I think, 20 Primarch that is created by God Emperor. I think half of the Primarch did fucking rebel with various reasons, but I'm going to expand on that later. But for now, let's summarize Horus Heresy description from certain storytellers. But I will take the one that I like most. Okay. Okay, so basically, just to summarize this, so Primarchs are basically superhuman of the superhumans. Oh, so if you think that Space Marines are superhumans, there's like more superhuman than them. There are two. There are two fucking two. Okay, one is Custodes. Custodes is the OP version of Space Marines, and they're way better fighters, but they don't have a teamwork. But I'm not going to explain what it is because we're not on that topic yet. Second, Primarch. Since we're featuring Horus Heresy right now, Primarchs are usually the superhuman commanders. So basically, they're like the best of the best generals and also the best warriors that Imperium can offer. And the way they are created is way different from Space Marines because Space Marines tends to usually Space Marine chapters or Legion tend to recruit from underage kids. Okay, yes, they do hire a fucking child soldier for some reason, and they implanted them gene seeds and put them on trials. So trials is a fucking called training, and training is, let's say, way more brutal than a fucking Navy SEAL selection process. If you watch the Navy SEAL selection process, if you think that's difficult, being a Space Marine is so fucking difficult. You will pass through different trials. You have a surgery for to implant your organs without a fucking anesthesia. Oh yeah, you get beaten before you get selected. You need to kill other contestants too. So most of people that will be called initiate for Space Marine chapters tend to be fighting for a Space Marine position. So yeah, you gotta kill each other before you get hired. Okay, it's not easy like similar to it's like similar to Master Chief's origin story that Spartan Spartan company tends to fight each other for selection process. It's no different from the Warhammer, but instead of beating each other up, you kill each other. That's the way of some Space Marines, but not all. Okay, not all Space Marine chapters or let's say Space Marine legions does that. It depends on the legion or chapter. Some do have a different process. Some because there are different types of legions or let's say chapters that specialize in certain tactics. Example, Raptors chapter, which is happened of 31st millennium, is they're like more of a modern special forces. They don't use much swords or etc. But let's say Dark Angels, they do. I mean, Space Wolves, Space Vikings, we call it. They tend to like use close quarters combat, but their selection process is different. You need to like survive on their that planet. So, but as Ultramarines, theirs is way different. You don't need to like kill each other for selection process. You beat it up. Of course, no anesthesia insertion of the organs, and they will teach you how to politics, how to engage in a proper warfare. You know, military stuff. So if you're going to ask me, the selection process of the certain chapters is so fucking mild and equivalent of a special forces in real world. But some are so fucking hardcore, it's so fucking green dark that I cannot even like say it. But other chapters or legions recruitment process is so fucking brutal. Even I saw the Black Templars chapter. They're like literally killing each other from initiate selection process. Anyhow, let's get back to the Primarch. Is that Primarch doesn't have a recruitment since God Emperor. Just to summarize it, God Emperor created them to lead the humanity. So they're literally a leader, less of a soldier. So they are created from laboratories from Mount Himalayas laboratory. So basically, laboratory of God Emperor is so fucking big. Just imagine that on Mount Himalayas. Okay, not Mount Everest, Himalayas. So somewhere in Nepal. And he created the 20 Primarch, specializing in each roles, I think, and their creation process way different. They're not recruits. They're not even ordinary human beings. They're artificial beings created from a laboratory. It's no different from me. Okay, it's no different from me in this lore that I was created from a laboratory. I'm no different from a Primarch, but still I'm not good as them when it comes to fighting. But still I'm decent at fighting though. I mean, okay. So they're like way more superhuman. I think they're like equivalent. If you think that it's, I would say they're like near equivalent of. I forgot the term. They're almost near equivalent of Spider-Man minus just like lessen the strength a little bit because the strength of Spider-Man is so enormous that he can like punch the Titan on the feet. The Titan earlier that you see the robots that is like so big, this one, that is a Titan. So Spider-Man is way stronger though. Oh, I do admit that, but put the notch a little bit and you got the Primarch. And basically Primarchs are superhuman superhumans because one of them did fucking prevent the Titan from stomping them. He just like push it. He has like really bad exertion because Titan is like walking cathedrals. Second is that they can tank hits even their weakest Primarch. Yes, there is like a weakest, there's strongest, and there's a weakest. The weakest Primarch can fucking tank a fucking hit from a cannon from this bad boy. Imagine that. And if you're like the strongest, yeah, basically you're qualified for DC or Marvel. So, and not to mention that they're like literally nearly nigh unkillable. I'm not joking about that. Nearly, but most of the time they can get killed. Okay, depends on what kind of example, I think there's like one Primarch there, Conrad Curse, I think. He got killed by an assassin, but she used a special bullet or poison that can kill a Primarch. But if you shoot him with a fucking gun, it will not work. It will not work. Why? I'm just going to say it. But they're superhumans. They can regenerate from that shit. And you know, right? They can regenerate. They can tank hits. You cannot just like fire a 9 millimeter to a Primarch. He will piss. It will piss him off, and he will just backhand you, and you will explode. And yes, their strength wise impressive. I would say they can just like backhand a fucking Space Marine. I'm not kidding about that. There's a lord there. I think from Dark Ages Primarch, he backhands Space Marine Chaplain. A Space Marine, he backhands from the face and exploded his face. He's dead. And it happened. It happened. It fucking happened. And they can kill other Primarch too. No shit. And the way it is like viewed on the novel, their fights is can cause earthquakes. I'm not joking about that. It can cause a fucking earthquake. It's like fighting Hulk to Hulk. It's like that. They're so fucking OP. And some of them have psychic powers. Oh shit. Let's not get started with the other guy who is like a fucking tomato. He has a fucking power, psychic power, and add some physical strength. OP, I would admit. Okay, I'm going to go to this part. Why there is a Titan? Titan is like a Gundam, but it doesn't fucking fly, and it's so fucking gigantic than fucking Gundams, but not as mobile. But still, it's so dangerous that they're used as field support, attack plus anti-air plus artillery plus heavy support plus. So basically, they can just like one or two of these babies can destroy most of the fortifications of the enemy. And you don't need much. You just like can deploy a few human people. You don't need a space marine. Few of these, and you're done. That's it. You win the fight immediately. I know there would be casualties because there's like people who is like firing at you from entrenched position. But if you're going to fucking ask me, with this baby, you can win wars. It's way better than let's say M1 Abrams or some shit like that in modern times. And yes, it's hard to kill because they have shields. These babies have fucking shields, dude. And they have like mini versions of it too that has shields too. But this one has shields. Armor is invincible. They have like all of the shit that they need. So add that combined arms with uh, what you call ships from the orbit, aircraft, and something like that. Bang! Invading force will win. Okay, and usually they turn the tide of war, especially in every Imperium engagements. They fucking do win with this shit. Okay, let's go to the other parts. So yeah, so villain of the legend. What do you think about the? How do I explain this? So I'm just going to one by one because the problem with the Warhammer 40k history is that it's so fucking long and you need to like break it down because you will get confused. And I think this today I will try to cover the Primarchs, also the Horus heresy. But let me take I need to like, urinate first before I do something. Huh? Okay, I'm back. Well, I would say over the top, but at the same time, I would say certain parts of the lore is boring. Is first of all, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if there is others here. I'm going to be honest with you guys. So not every time fights in Warhammer is exciting. First of all, example, let's go with the guardsman. Guardsman story. Okay, guardsman, they're ordinary human beings or soldiers that is like drafted into war, that is given a fucking flak armor and a laser pointer. I'm just going to make a joke about last rifle. Last rifle is no joke, okay, because uh it's almost you know the armor penetrating of that shit is almost equivalent of 50 BMG, and it can also explode your head if you don't have an armor at all. It can destroy you. So most of the engagements in Warhammer is not that epic as it seems because when I just read their campaigns, Imperium of Man campaigns, most of it is I would say 70% is rebellion, 70% some minor chaos cults that is like barely can fight. Maybe some gene stealers called gene stealers is called cult of Tyranids that is like disguised as humans. Basically, that's they're dealing with most, and you don't fight every time a Chaos Space Marine, a Necron, an Orc. You don't fight them frequently. I would say only 30% of the engagement happens in Warhammer. So imagine that, as per lore, I'm just going to be honest with you, guys, is not all of the time is every time a war. Okay, it's just a running team that eternal war, let the galaxy burn. No, it's not because some of the worlds in Warhammer tends to be peaceful. And yes, I'm not kidding about that. Go to the agri world, okay? Agri world, agricultural world. They don't have a war. If there is a war, it's like more of a civil war, traditional fighting stuff. It's not that exciting as usual in Warhammer. This is the reason why, especially when it comes to like Warhammer media, Warhammer 40k, okay, because there is two Warhammer, because Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer 40k. In Warhammer 40k, the reason why it is featured chaos, Necrons, Orcs, because it's exciting to the viewers. If we're going to like, show random rebelling governors, or let's say some weak ass cultists, that is like a smaller engagement. I don't think everyone will watch it. It's because it's boring. It's not exciting. Even I, uh, that has like favor that I really fucking love Warhammer, and I'm going to watch that shit. Nah, I'm not going to watch. Why? Because it's so boring. It's so fucking boring. I'm not going to watch some two humans fighting each other. Hell, I mean, orcs are way more funnier. I mean, orcs is way better when it comes to like when it comes to certain in fighting or civil war. They're funny. They're fucking funny. Okay. But if we're going to human, it's typical war drama bullshit that we find in real life or something, and it's not fun for me. Okay. The reason why I go to the Warhammer because for a little bit unrealism and not to mention over the top. I'm not going to go with the realism, despite some of the Warhammer media, especially books, feature that. Okay. Um. Well, yes. To add, so there is like a D&D version of the Warhammer called Dark Heresy or something. I forgot the name. So basically, you can like do the same shit, investigating shit or something like that. D&D stuff, and you can role play for certain people. You can be a space marine, you can be a guardsman, you can be an inquisitor, you can be a sisters of battle. I mean, you can choose what faction, but no aliens because aliens or let's say Xenos is not featured there. But let's go with let's see here, Death of Hope. Hmm. Okay, okay. Let's introduce ourselves to Horus. This guy, right? This guy. So this one, 40k theories. Okay, 40k theories.
Hello everyone, this is Remlays,
And this is Narina from 40k Theories.
and welcome to this new episode of 40k Lore for Newcomers. For this episode, we will be taking a brief look at none other than the arch-traitor himself, Horus Lupercal.
Okay,
As always, this is a brief
okay. So this is one of the briefing. Okay, this is way more expanded on what I said because this will explain why Horus Heresy happened, and this is the start of creation of the Chaos Space Marines. Okay, just to be honest, Chaos Space Marines they didn't just like come out of other faction. Okay, they just like fucking rebelled originally. Yeah, rebellion, of course, Galactic Empire or some shit like that. Okay, similar to that, but imagine that. Imagine that if the Rebel Alliance became chaos. This is the shit. So they started worshipping demons and etc. etc. So this issue started from Horus, but actually there is like someone who influenced Horus. So this is why he did that.
overview for certain events, and as such, they will have in-depth videos dedicated to them within the future. So without further ado, let's begin.
When the traitor's hand strikes, it strikes with the strength of a legion.
Horus was one
When the traitor's
Okay, I'm going to explain this quote. So when the traitor hand strikes, it strikes the strength of Legion. Okay. On 30th millennium, um, I'm going to explain this because I think it will not get covered in this one because it's only Horus, but I'm going to add some tidbit on his history or this quote. 30th millennium, Imperial Guard barely exists. Emperor planned the Space Marine to be the soldiers of Imperium. That time, human beings barely. They're just a more of a voluntary force than, let's say, conscripted. Is because, first of all, you have like a fuck tons of Space Marines got created during that period. So, Legion means instead of like chapter is broken down from a legion and with a different name. Legion is like I think 10,000 or 20,000 plus or something, and One Astartes. Astartes means Space Marine is equivalent of like one fighting force. Uh, I mean, others will say 10 guardsmen, but I would say it's more of our one Space Marine is equivalent of like one battalion of guardsmen for me. Because one Space Marine can utterly demolish one battalion for the by themselves. And yes, only one or two Space Marines can conquer a planet. I'm not joking about that. That's how OP they are. Unlike in games that they're featured that oh you need like company, you need some battalion for Space Marine. No, you don't need that shit unless you're going to like, do capture some star system or let's say two planets, three planets. And I would understand if you need several Space Marine, but for just one planet, only one or two is enough. You don't need more of them. You just need to conscript someone or let's say get ordinary human beings to do the dirty work for you. You do fire support and you're done. Easy as pie. But imagine that their Legion, they're so fucking OP in 30k. This is why if you see the video earlier, they're like literally huge. They're fighting each other. But in 41st Millennium in the Warhammer 40k franchise, okay, not Horus Heresy, because it's a little bit separated. So Horus Heresy versus 40k. On 40k, most of the Space Marines are less now. Okay, I think 5,000 to 1,000 per man per chapter is because the reason why is they're broken down due to the Codex Astartes, which is made by Primarch Gilliman, to prevent this shit happening. What happened from Horus? So this is why they just like broken down. But actually, if they're combined and they're just coordinated that much, they can conquer the galaxy as long as the Primarch didn't get corrupted by chaos.
His hand strikes. It strikes with the strength of a legion.
Horus was one of the Primarchs, the genetically engineered sons of the Emperor of Mankind, and was considered to be one of, if not the greatest of them all. He, alongside all of his brothers, would have the incubation capsules containing their embryonic forms scattered throughout space, after being drawn into a warp tear that opened within the Emperor's gene labs. After his rediscovery by the Emperor, Horus became a wise and charismatic politician, an astute general, and a mighty warrior, leading his Space Marine Legion, the Lunar Wolves, to many great victories during the Great Crusade.
So this is why Horus is in charge of being a War Master. War Master is equivalent of a 5-star general, or let's say Supreme Commander. Okay, let's compare Horus rank to Army of today when it comes to ranking. I would say he's like Supreme Commander, but put him in charge of, let's say, if the government today united into one banner, one world government, that would be Horus, and he would be the 5-star of the 5-star generals and supreme commander. So basically, he's leading the crusade. So no wonder why some traitor legions do join him. It's because of his charisma. Even if he became an evil person, I would say Horus is not really a nice guy, to be honest.
In battle, he would wear a mighty set of Terminator armor and wield a great power mace known as Worldbreaker, as well as a vicious lightning claw with an integrated combi bolter known as the Talon. Horus would become the War Master of the Imperium, and lead the armies of humanity in his father's name. But eventually, Horus would become corrupted and turn against his father, leading a rebellion and instigating one of the most devastating wars in humanity's history, the Horus Heresy. With this act, Horus would turn from being the most beloved son of the Emperor, and instead would become the most reviled and despised traitor in Imperial history.
The past is always with us.
Horus's incubation pod would land upon the hive world of Chthoniya, which itself was a world extremely close, galactically speaking, to the Sol system.
So
Little of Horus's time
wait. Hold on, lady, hold on. So imagine this: if the planet of Horus is near solar system, I would estimate it's near somewhere Pluto or let's say Neptune, but it's on the other part of the system. Okay, yeah. So if he's near, so he's the one of the people who got into fold of who joined Emperor, I think. So it makes sense. It makes sense because he's nearby. Oh, by the way, the reason why they're faster going to planet because they're not using a traditional warp drives or let's say hyper drives like in Star Wars. They're using a demo, what you call this, the warp portal. So warp portal, you're going through hell, and warp is literally hell. Okay, it's literally fucking hell. So imagine that you're going through there just to like distort the timeline, just to like get to the other planet. And yes, you will get there faster as you could, but it's so fucking slow to initiate. Not to mention it's dangerous because just to add, if you're going to through the warp, even if you have like shields to prevent demons from leaking in or let's say get there would be a few people inside who go insane because they see shit on the windows or let's say some ghosts will appear inside the ship, and yes, anyone can go insane with that. But still, it's also one of the efficient ways, but it's one of the slowest ones versus the other sci-fi, just to add on that shit.
Upon the world is known, as there are many differing accounts. In addition, unlike many of the other Primarchs, the records pertaining to Horus's early life are severely lacking. Some claim that he learned the art of combat and murder from time spent within the ranks of one of the many Chthonian hive gangs, while others claim
Oh,
he
he's a
made his
gangster.
way to Terra to pay fealty to the Emperor. Many
So
more
which?
claims exist, but regardless of their veracity, Horus would be the first.
Okay. There's like two versions that the lady said. So I would say he's more of he became a gangster first because before being a war master, first of all, he's really good at fighting or combat. So it would make sense that he's like a brutal gangster. Instead of like going to the Terra and he will receive the training, it doesn't fucking make sense because most of the Primarchs, just to let you know, guys. So basically, they learned the fighting within their homeworld. So they just like started to the shadiest shit I've ever seen. So this is why they learned their combat experience there first before they are going to like get uh be before getting recruited by Imperium of Man.
First Primarch officially rediscovered by the Emperor of Mankind, thanks in part to Chthonia's close proximity to Terra. After being reunited with his father, Horus would fight alongside the Emperor for several decades.
Oh, by the
The
way,
Emperor
Emperor
would
is
save the young
OP.
Primarch's life during the siege of Raylis after they were ambushed and an unarmored Horus took a plasma blast to the chest. The Emperor would stand defiant against their enemies, refusing to give ground or abandon his son until reinforcements and victory arrived soon
Oh,
after.
by the way, guys, if you're kind of new about this, so Emperor is not genetically created. Okay. Spoiler wise, Emperor is made out of psychic energy from 10 or 20 shamans that sacrifice themselves way before our age. No, I'm not kidding about that. Millions of not millions of years, thousands or 10,000, hundred thousands of years ago. So compared to our timeline, I would say Emperor is that really that old. So I would add some fan theory that he kind of like enhanced himself with cybernetics, but aside from that, he's like pure. He's just like pure organic. Okay, he's not created from someone else scientific mad scientist bullshit, but he's more of a psychic energy that is sacrificed from shamans just to create him. And this is why he's so fucking OP and smart. And yes, his creation is way before 2022. Okay.
Horus would repay this debt during a battle against the savage and warlike Xenos race known as the Orcs, upon the
Orcs. Yep.
planetoid known as Goro, where Horus would slice the arms of an Orc warlord who attempted to strangle the Emperor to death. Eventually, another of Horus's brothers would be discovered upon the death world of Fenris, Leman Russ of the Space Wolves.
Yep. Lehman
Horus
Russ.
initially thought
Viking
very
boy.
little of his new brother, thinking him nothing more than a primitive barbarian. The Emperor found such a notion amusing, wondering if Horus's feelings towards his brother were as a result of jealousy, now that Horus was no longer an only child.
Okay, just to add this, another thing that kind of intensifies during the Horus heresy is because just like in real life, just like in fucking real life, there is like a brother versus brother. Okay, there is like this intense sibling rivalry because there is like a loyalist versus loyalist Primarch. It happened. They punch each other's teeth out. Maybe someone has rivalry and they just like kill each other. Traitor versus loyalist Primarchs. Which is it fucking makes sense why they're killing each other, let's say attacking each other, but it's more of jealousy because someone favors this one, someone favors this one. So just to add, Primarchs is despite they're like flawed flawed beings, and not to mention they're like uh, not unnatural people. Yes, they're not natural. They're created from a fucking laboratory. They're still human beings because they still have the same issues as us human, as us. You know.
Despite his misgivings towards Russ, Horus agreed that he would at the very least attempt to get along with his new feral brother. Horus would lead his legion to many great conquests during the course of the Great Crusade, and would have the highest tally of victories amongst
Yeah,
all the
this
legions.
is why he got promoted.
The only Primarch who would come close to Horus's own impressive tally of compliances would be Lionel Johnson, Primarch of the Dark Angels
This
Legion.
guy. Okay, this guy.
Whenever
By the way, this. Okay,
his
let's
own
skip this
impressive
one.
tally of compliances would be Lionel
This guy backhanded his Primarch. I mean, his chaplain, because he wants to discipline the chaplain because the chaplain said, "Oh, Psychers is bad. You will get someone get possessed and accidentally summon demons in a fucking world." He got angry. He backhanded this the fucking chaplain, and his head fucking explodes. Wow. Yep, that happened. But he's one of the best CQB combatants. I'm going to admit it. He's good at shooting, but he's more good at melee. And yes, he's good at fucking melee. And if we're going to go to the tabletop, Dark Angels are really one of the best melee combatants in tabletop. This is why I do really like Dark Angels, but I'm going to expand it on it soon when it comes to reacts. Okay, so there is a story behind this Primarch that I want you guys to know about this. It's related to Chaos too, but he didn't go to Chaos. But some did go to Chaos. But yeah, it's just like we're not going to spoil that first. Let's go with
Johnson,
Horus.
Primarch of the Dark Angels Legion. Whenever another of the Primarchs was rediscovered, Horus would be left to command the Emperor's armies in his stead, while the Master of Mankind went to meet with his lost sons. Over the course of the Great Crusade, Horus would receive his counsel from a group within the Lunar Wolves Legion, known as the Mournival, who Horus became close to, showing them a strong, almost paternal affection. The course of the crusade would lead to Horus fighting alongside his brother Sanguinius, the Primarch of the Blood Angels Legion, upon the world of Melchior, against the Xenos race.
Actually, just to add, so Sanguinius is a literal angel. Yeah, because it's a mutation. So not all Primark are clean, are literally clean when it comes to genetic defects. So some of them do have like a strangest mutations that somehow, because here's the problem when it comes to like, Space Marines, the extra organs that is implanted came from their Primark. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, some of the magos, or let's say some of the tech priests or tech magos, or let's say apothecaries, to get their Primarch's stem cells. Okay, I'm going to like simplify this. It's called gene seeds, but I'm going to call it stem cells. And then they will grow organs to implant it to the potential initiate on Space Marines. But the problem here is that they can inherit some genetic defects too from their Primarchs. So this might explain why some of them go to chaos. Sometimes they have like a really strange feature sometimes because they got it from their Primarchs. So basically, Primarchs are their daddy. Space Marines do have their daddy called Primarch. So they just like implant that shit to the Space Marines so that they can just like, yep, okay, fine, so that they can inherit the abilities of their Primarch. So, but not all of the Space Marines, I said before, uh, not all of the Space Marines can inherit shit, and not to mention it depends on their combat abilities. Even if you get abilities of Usain Bolt and you don't even fucking train, and you don't have the same skills or let's say mindset of that person, you cannot even replicate Usain Bolt. It's the same with Space Marines. Not all Space Marines are great because some do fucking die easily. But I would admit it depends on the Space Marines' ability. So the ones that are good get promoted into Honor Guard, to Vanguard, Sergeant, to Captain, to certain specialized roles until they're Chapter Master. But most who are really that bad at their job tends to stay as a tactical marine or let's say scouts. Sometimes they don't want to be a space marine, so they become like space marine scouts. Space marine scouts, more of how do I explain this? There are more of special operations type of space marines that doesn't engage much in melee. They are more of assassination type or let's say sabotage or similar to like modern military. But when it comes to like, space marines, they're not your traditional military types.
Known as the Nephilim. It was during the aftermath of the conflict where Horus would witness Sanguinius killing one of his own gene sons due to the Legionnaire having succumbed to the secret flaw of the Blood Angels
This
Legion,
is what I'm
the Red
saying earlier.
Thirst.
Yep, red
The
thirst.
very act of a Primarch killing one of his sons was an act Horus claimed to be simply incomprehensible. Horus would ask his brother why he kept this secret from him, and not ask their father, the Emperor, for aid in correcting this flaw. But Sanguinius stated that he feared for his sons should such knowledge come to light, especially given the fate regarding the Primarchs of the 2nd and 11th Legions, who had been but recently erased from the annals of history. Horus then swore a vow to his brother that he would keep such delicate information.
Okay, so the two, I think the two Primarch or legions that is redacted. Other fans did say that, oh, the reason why it's like redacted or let's say removed from the records is that those two Primarchs so that the players from the tabletop can create their own Space Marine legions or chapters. But for me, in official lore, which I would agree on her on what she said, is that the problem here, if the problem with the Emperor is that he doesn't give a shit about his Primarchs actually. So if he sees that his legion is a liability, basically, I mean, he will kill them all. I mean, no shit, he will massacre them all because they are liabilities. But then again, I'm not surprised because Emperor, as much as he's the hero of the Imperium, the God Savior of mankind, he's a fucking douchebag to be honest. Yep, he's willing to kill his own sons just for greater good of mankind or some bullshit like that. So just to like elaborate the point what she said, okay? So this is why Sanguinius didn't bother telling Emperor because he might do it, but at the same time, I don't think that Emperor will do it because Sanguinius is literally an asset. He's not liability. He didn't fall to chaos, so maybe he can do some science or magic juju and maybe fix that or cure his legion with a genetic defect called red thirst. Red thirst, it means that they go crazy and they attack someone or eat someone else. So just to like elaborate that red thirst stuff, okay? But we will like detail it in the future too.
A secret.
Mankind's singular hope for survival is mankind himself. No technology, no art, no science or philosophy will save us from the encroaching darkness. Only the within us will prevail, and then only if we stand together.
Following the Ulanor campaign,
Oh,
which saw
by the
the
way, this is
destruction of a
the
massive
by the way, this is all of the Primarch, but it's not even like complete. But still, this is all of the Primarch. They are like a little bit different. So not all of them are same like Space Marines. Okay, just to take note. So they're like individualized, and if you're going to notice it, some of them do look Asian. So this guy is an Asian. This guy is looks like a ripoff from Final Fantasy character. There's a tomato guy here, and there is a stinky boy there. Okay, they're individualized. Okay, they have like different cultures, so this is why they have different armor, different styles. They have different specialties. Okay, just take note of that.
orc empire, the Emperor would announce his retirement from the Great Crusade in order to return to Terra and begin establishing the nascent Imperium's more bureaucratic elements. The Emperor would announce that Horus would become Imperial Warmaster and would become the first amongst
Exactly,
equals,
this is what I said earlier.
commanding the Imperium's militaristic might. This new promotion would receive a mixed response from his brothers. Some believed that they should have been chosen over Horus, or simply did not approve of the idea of having to follow their brother's orders. Others, however, supported Horus out of duty, and others still would show genuine pride in their brother's accomplishments.
Well,
Those
exactly,
Primarchs who genuinely
because it's summarized here, but Horus did some campaigns with Emperor and with the other Primarchs. So just to add note on this one, how do I explain this shit? So basically, Horus is accomplished general, so everyone can follow him, but not all of the. Yes, there. He's correct about that. Some of the Primarch do disagree, especially Angron. If you see him earlier, the guy with the two axes is that two. He has like two chain axes literally, and the reason why he got jealous, I think, because he's the best combatant. I mean, shit. It's not only the best combatant because first of all, he even if he Horus can lead from the front, I would say tactically wise, he's really that good. He can like conquer star systems, even rebelling ones. And yes, he has like lots of campaigns that is like written on Warhammer 40k Lexicanum or something like that. There's like a stories of his victory during 30th millennium. Okay, just to like add that stuff.
supported Horus's ascension within Imperial hierarchy, Rogul Dawn of the Imperial Fists, Mortarion of the Death Guard, Sanguinius of the Blood Angels, Lorgar of the Word Bearers, and Fulgrim of the Emperor's Children would be the ones that Horus would grow the closest to.
Mm-hmm.
Horus would then lead his legion into several more fierce campaigns.
Moon? Moon! Oh, moon! Moon! Mooning! Mooning! Moon! Hi, Moon. How are you today? How's your vacation? How's your vacation, Moon? Hmm? How's your vacation, Moon? I see Moon. I see Moon. I'm happy. I see m- moon. I see moon. Mm, moon. Okay, one question. What are you saying about where's the other guy at? Wh- What other guy? What other guy, Mixie? What other guy? Villain of the legend? Yeah, Villain of the legend is here. Yeah, I'm going to continue here.
claiming a multitude of victories, with one such campaign against the human and Xenos civilization known as the Interrex.
Ah,
Initially,
Interrex.
Horus hoped to establish peaceful relations with the Interrex, who themselves bore technology that was highly advanced compared to that of the Imperium.
Okay. Okay, I kind of where the other guy from Space Marine. Actually, Bixie, this is if you're going to like refer to Captain Titus, he doesn't even exist yet in this timeline because first of all, during what you call this, how do I explain this? This is 31st or 30th millennium. So that time, Titus might be a kid, or let's say he doesn't even exist yet. Uh, this is like way before the events of Space Marine. So it's like way before, like millennia before Space Marine game. So it's like way too far in the past. Um, Not to mention that it's like similar to Star Wars. That if like you're going to notice if you read Star Wars books, right? If you read Star Wars, you watch Star Wars. There is like a story way before Episode One. There's like stories way before Episode One. The Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic. On the books, there is like ancient Jedi. So it's similar to this. So it's way before the Warhammer 40k. So this story, just to explain Mixie, so this explains why Horus, the what do you call this, the leader of the Black Legion Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines. This explains his story. Not to mention that this story also explains why Chaos Space Marines was created because in this period and before, Chaos Space Marines didn't exist yet. I know that you encountered it on your gameplay during your stream that there's Chaos Space Marines. So way before that, it doesn't exist. So because of due to Horus action, the Primarch of the Black Legion, okay, the Primarch of Black Legion. So basically, the Chaos Space Marines got created because other Primarch did turn traitor and they became Chaos. And exactly, Mixie, he's not an egg yet, or he didn't fucking exist. So it's like 30th, so let's say 10,000 years after, then maybe Titus will exist.
However, conflict ensued when the Interrex accused the Lunar Wolves of destroying a museum of artifacts
If
and
you
weapons.
Mixi, if you notice that their armor is old, it's because this is the earlier versions of power armor. The power armor that Titus is using is the new ones, but this one is old and it's riveted, so it's a little bit primitive than your usual power armor. Because to be honest, it's like version 4, I think, or version 3.
Weaponry known as the Hall of Devices, despite the Lunar Wolves themselves being innocent of this crime. It was not long after this series of events
And
that
this is the Primarch.
Horus, with Sanguinius's prompting and the Emperor's blessing, would rename his legion
Yep.
from the Lunar Wolves into the Sons of Horus. Despite the honor bestowed
This
upon
is the
him by the
OG.
Emperor, Horus
This
still bore an almost imperceptible.
Oh, not the OG ones with red. I think the original ones, the you're referring to the Blood Ravens. No, they're not. They're not because first of all, they're like I think they're part of the what do you call this? I think the Dawn of War creators just like made up shit, but they became canon recently, and it's hinted that their Primarch is based on Magnus the Red. So yeah, I'm just going to explain it because it will confuse us more, and we're just going to concentrate on creation of Chaos Marines, how they existed because of this fucking guy with the Terminator armor.
Kernel of resentment towards what he perceived as his father abandoning him and his brothers. Horus would eventually begin associating with the High Chaplain of the Word-Bearers Legion, Erebus, who, unbeknownst to the Primarch, had already fallen, along with
Okay, this guy. Okay, he's the one of the OG who is like uh, outright worshiping chaos and what do you call this? Speaking bullshit through their ears that they're saying that oh, believe me, chaos is good and whispering it to the ears. And this guy, this fucking Horus, did just like believe this asshole, and he became chaos. Nice one. And yes, he's the one of the original guys who is also a fucking priest or some shit like that, and spreading the word of chaos as usual. And I don't fucking like this guy even if I'm chaos. He's a religious bullshit asshole something.
his legion to the worship of the Chaos Gods. Horus would begin seeking Erebus's counsel more and more frequently, much to the concern of Garviel Loken and Tarak Torgedan of the Mournival. The taint of chaos would slowly creep through the sons of Horus's ranks,
And
thanks to the
corruption
legion's
started.
warrior lodges, which were in effect secret societies.
Corruption
Horus's own
started.
corruption would begin upon the moon of the planet Davin. Horus would lead his legion to Davin's moon to bring the planetary system back into compliance after the governor, Tember, had rebelled. When Horus landed upon Davin's moon, he and his legion would discover that the landscape had been transformed into a pestilential swamp. The sons of Horus would come under attack from a horde of plague zombies while Horus fought his way to Tember's location.
Okay, going to explain why it became green. Because work of Nurgle, okay? Excuse me. Okay, Nurgle is one of the chaos gods, is chaos god of decay or let's say life or death. And he kind of corrupted the people there and turned them into fucking zombies. Yep, this is what Horus is experiencing that time, and this is the start of the being a chaos guy. Who started the fucking Horus heresy, which leads to creation of Chaos Space Marines.
Tember himself was armed with a weapon known as an anatheme blade, which was itself stolen from the Interrex civilization's Hall of Devices by none other than Erebus himself.
Holy shit, they have maggots.
Horus would slay Tember, which would banish the zombies and demons, but the Primarch would be severely wounded by the anatheme. Horus's Primarch physiology was unable to heal the wound, and the Primarch came close to death.
Whoa.
In desperation, the sons of Horus brought his body to Davin's surface to allow the chaos-worshipping Davinites of the Serpent Lodge to heal him.
And this is where the moment he fucked up, okay? This is the moment where he fucked up. Okay, I'm going to fucking explain this shit. If you're going to be loyalists, okay, if you're not willing to like, worship chaos, how do I say this? Do not consult with chaos. I'm not kidding about this shit. Why? Because here's the thing. They can like ask for help from random chaos cultists. I mean, doesn't fucking make sense. And this is the reason why he got corrupted because of this shit. He got stabbed by a fucking Nurgle worshipping asshole, and Horus heresy happens. Not to mention he has resentment. He got tempted by Erebus, the guy earlier that you saw, the priest guy. So yeah, this is why the Luna Wolves, which became a Black Legion, turned against Emperor and basically became the first Chaos Space Marines before they recruited other Chaos Space Marines, or let's say Space Marine legions that became Chaos.
The Davanites would begin an arcane ritual, while Erebus would attempt to manipulate Horus in his comatose state, entering his thoughts and disguising his form as that of Horus's slain friend, Hastur Sejanus. Erebus showed Horus visions of the Emperor as a fully fledged god, discarding the Primarchs as little more than broken tools that had outlived their usefulness. In addition, he also told Horus about the truth of gods and the warp, and how the Emperor's plan caused pain and misery to the Chaos gods, who simply wished to be left alone.
Well, they're
The
like
Emperor,
lying. They're
who
like
preached
fucking
the
lying.
imperial truth of science and reason, and banned any and all research into the warp, following the Council of Nicaea.
See, this is the funniest point. So, Bixie, I know that you're still here, so I'm going to explain this. The the Imperium that you're seeing, that with Inquisitors and stuff, actually, Emperor doesn't want that shit. I mean, sure, he created the Inquisition, but at the same time, he doesn't want them to like worship him as a fucking god. And just like science and logic, something like that, so that it can effectively deny the chaos god's power, or let's say demons accidentally summoning through the realm. Yeah, just like I want to like add that up.
Seemed little more than a hypocrite. Horus's own existing bitterness grew in magnitude, and would eventually blossom into anger and hostility towards his father. The Chaos Gods claimed that only Horus could save humanity from
Corn!
extinction at the hands of the Emperor's own selfish plans. But Horus and Erebus
I like this chaos god. To be honest, I don't like these others because fuck them. Well, it seems she's somehow good, but I would say I'm more of a corn because I have anger issues.
would then be joined by an unexpected visitor, the Primarch of the Thousand Suns Legion and
The Red
most
Tomato!
powerful psyker of all the Primarchs, Magnus the Red.
Okay,
Magnus would
so the blood ravens. The reason why they're if you played the Dark Crusade, and the reason why they fought the guardsman on the Dark Crusade is because they want to hide the fact that their Primarch is this guy, and this guy is a fucking traitor too, and they don't want to get wiped out due to excommunication by Inquisition. Yeah, this tomato guy. So this is the reason why their armor is red, is because they're the one of the people who evacuated and got lost somewhere else, and they didn't even like fucking go with Magnus the Red from Evacuation of Prospero, which I will expand it further. But yeah, the Blood Ravens from the Dawn of War games, their Primarch is this guy.
reveal Erebus's deception to Horus, and while he could not stop the ritual, he would desperately plead with his brother to not turn against their father. Magnus's pleas went unheeded. Horus would align with the ruinous powers and set about planning his rebellion against his father, before being fully healed and restored to the waking world once more. Realizing that Magnus and his legion were too dangerous to ignore, Horus awaited for the right opportunity to strike. He found his chance when Magnus used sorcery to attempt to warn the Emperor of Horus's betrayal, and would intercept and alter orders meant for Leman Russ and his Space Wolves Legion.
And this is why Prospero is a planet of Magnus the Red, got destroyed because of this shit. Because of fucking Horus. Yes! This is why when he altered the fucking orders, he pretended to Leman Russ, the Primarch of Space Wolves, to be his friend. And he said, Magnus is doing something really bad. Bam! This shit happens. Yep, this shit happens. And this is why Magnus became Chaos. And the Blood Ravens did fucking exist because of that.
Instead of ordering Russ to arrest Magnus to stand trial, Horus ordered that Rust destroy them instead, which would eventually lead to the burning of Prospero. Horus would convince Fulgrim, Angron and Mortarion to join him in this plot to overthrow their father, while Lorgar himself allied with the War Master without hesitation and initially in secret, having already been long corrupted by chaotic taint. Thus would begin the events of the Horus Heresy.
Exactly. Start of
Let the
Chaos Space Marine.
galaxy burn.
Let the galaxy
One
burn.
of the first actions Horus would undertake would be the purging of those elements within his legion who he believed would not follow his new path. To this end, Horus and those legions who had sworn allegiance to him took their opportunity to rid themselves of loyalists within the Eastvan system, as Eastvan III had been declared as no longer being compliant. While they made room
Okay, just to add a tidbit on the Dawn of War. So the reason why the Karuva and Dark Crusade existed is because the chapter master of Blood Ravens is corrupted by chaos, and basically he wants them to attack the Imperium, um, and get themselves killed. Is because they want to get rid of the loyalists within the chapter. And this is the same shit that Horus is doing. Is that there is like some of the elements of Black Legion that is loyal to Emperor, but he doesn't want to have a liability to his team, so they just like deliberately purge their one of their brothers for the shit. So without them, nobody will fucking join. Nobody will fucking join the Imperium because of that. And not to mention, they will not get stabbed in the back. But sadly, the loyalists from Luna Wolves, or let's say Black Legion, did suffer from backstabbing from their own brothers. They got murdered by being shot with a bolter shell on the back because of the shit. So it's so different from what happened on the Dawn of War with with the chapter master of the Blood Ravens and what he did to the Blood Raven loyalists to Emperor. This exact shit didn't fucking happen at all.
to Eastvan, Horus would also dispatch agents to several other legions in hopes that they would join him in his cause. Agents would also be dispatched to Mars, the capital world of the Mechanicum Empire, and Horus promised Fabricator General Kelbor Hell, the leader of the Martian Mechanicum, not only the complete and total autonomy of the organization following the conflict, but also access to several pieces of rare and highly valuable standard template construct, or STC technology.
Okay, I'm going to explain this. So STC means what you call is a blueprint that is like being used for finding the new tech. So basically, way before the start of the Great Crusade, or let's say Horus Heresy, mankind did fuck up a little bit and lost their high tech stuff. So this might explain why the Interrex got a hold of the really good stuff. Actually, they are like separate human civilizations, so they got the new the high tech stuff. So imagine that you're on the Borderlands, or let's say Halo or Star Wars level of tech. You kind of fuck it up. You manage to like accidentally destroy most of their things, and not to mention you lost the blueprints, and it's scattered all over around the galaxy. And yeah, this shit happens. So they just like regress into a religious fanatical cult that's worshipping the toasters or technology. So this is the reason why the Mars do really want the STC too much, is that they want the future age goes back again. I know Warhammer is future, right? But holy shit, they look like the medieval stuff, medieval shit. You know, they look medieval at all. So they want it back, but under in the pretext of monopolization of the technology. So just to add on that.
Squads and companies of loyalists would be deployed upon Eastvan III before Horus would order that the world be subjected to exterminatus via the use of virus bombs. However, this initial plan would be foiled thanks to the efforts of the loyalist Emperor's children captain Soltavets, warning those Astartes upon the world, giving them time to seek shelter within bunkers and other fortifications.
Ah, loyalists, yeah.
This would turn Istvan from a quick purge to a full-scale war that lasted several months, but eventually Horus would manage to recall his forces back into orbit before subjecting the world to another bombardment, wiping out almost all life in the process, save for 1 or 2 individuals. The mass loss of life was so extreme that the psychic scream of the dying souls reverberated louder than even the beacon of the Astronomicon. Horus would then deploy his forces to Istvan V to undertake the next phase of his plan. After learning of this act and the revelations brought forward by the loyalist Death Guard captain Nathaniel Garrow, who fled the events of Istvan III to Terra, 7 Space Marine legions were dispatched to apprehend Horus for his actions. The Iron Hands, Salamanders, Raven Guard, Night Lords, Iron Warriors, Alpha Legion, and Word Bearers.
And this is the problem. And they didn't even fucking know that those three people, legion that is deployed is a traitor. I'm not going to spoil, but she will
To the
explain shit.
Imperium, the Iron Warriors, Word Bearers, Alpha Legion, and Night Lords had already been swayed to Horus's cause and would turn upon the Raven Guard, Iron Hands, and Salamanders, decimating their forces in an event known as the Istvan V Dropsite Massacre. Ferrus Manus, the Primarch of the Iron Hands, would be slain, and Vulcan of the Salamanders would be captured and tortured by Conrad Kurtz of the Night Lords. But Horus Corax of the Raven Guard would manage to escape. The skull of Ferrus Manus would be gifted to Horus as a trophy, though in private Horus would confess to his brother's remains his sorrow that he commands little more than broken monsters as opposed to the truly great men. Following the events of Istvan, despite initially believing that the shattered legions of the Iron Hands, Raven Guard, and Salamanders would no longer be a threat to him, Horus
Okay, this explains why some of the legions in on Istvan Dropsite Massacre. This explains why some of the current chapters on 40th Millennium cannot regain their strength back. Is because not to because of the shit. Most of their forces got slaughtered in the fucking war, or let's say bombardment. So it's kind of hard for them to recruit. So they kind of recruited, but it's way too late. Once the Codex Astartes, which is created by Gilliman, Primarch Gilliman of Ultramarines, created the Codex Astartes. They're way too few for 1,000 per chapter, and they cannot even like do more. And not to mention that most of the some of the loyalist legion, what do you call this, either turn to chaos, or let's say they're just like way too douchebag to recruit more people. So this is why we I don't see other factions that do much at all. It's because they are like decimated already. So I think like 2 or 3 legion, or let's say chapters, still active is because first of all, they refused the Codex Astartes, and not to mention they didn't even get slaughtered in this fight. And yes, the 3 legions, as explained, they turned against their comrades and they fire it at each other, and basically, yeah, loyalists. The loyalists did fucking lost in this war, in this campaign.
would discover that the Iron Hands captain, Shadrach Medicine, had amassed a sizable force upon the world of Dwell. Horus would order an immediate assault upon the world to destroy the shattered legions once and for all, but would become victim of an attempted assassination by Medicine through the use of fire raptor gunships, though Horus would survive. Instead, the attempt on his life had unlocked a long-repressed memory within Horus, and so he travelled to the world of Moloch. Horus learned of the Chaos Gate upon the world, the same one that granted his father, the Emperor, a significant boost to his own impressive abilities.
So
Horus would
basically,
make his way to the gate
okay.
and enter.
So this is the only one that I didn't know is that he go to Chaos Gate just to like get a power boost. Okay, he got OP powers due to fucking chaos. Basically, for chaos god is blessing him.
Only to re-emerge but a few seconds later. Despite only seconds passing in the material universe, Horus had visibly aged. To Horus, thousands of
became
years had
corrupted.
passed, where
He
he
became
toiled
corrupted.
away performing trials and favors to the Chaos Gods, so that they would grant him godlike power through sheer force of will, rather than through deceptive means. After leaving Moloch, his flagship, the Vengeful Spirit, would be infiltrated by a group of Astartes known as the Knights Errant, loyalists who hailed from every Space Marine Legion,
So
including
basically,
the
this
traitor
is like
legions. This boarding
Grey
party
Knights.
would include 2 former members of Horus's Legion, Iacton Cruz and Gavia Loken,
The-
a former member.
Actually, this is the precursor of Grey Knights. So I might react soon about the Grey Knights so that I can like expand on it. This is the precursor of the ones because Grey Knights is like what do you call this? Created from different chapters and legions. So yeah, it makes sense.
Member of the Mournival, who by sheer luck had managed to survive the events of Istvan III. The Knights Errant were captured and brought before Horus within Lupercal's court. Horus then attempted to sway Loken back to his side, but Loken defied him. A battle broke out, and Horus killed Iacton Cruz, impaling him with his talon.
Shit.
He then prepared to kill the rest of the Knights Errant, but they managed to escape thanks
See,
to the
this is why I'm
loyalist
saying
human
that
pilot,
Horus is
Banu
OP.
Rasua, who used his ship's weaponry to shoot out the windows of the deck, sucking the Knights Errant into the void of space. It mattered little to Horus that these few Astartes escaped, as now he was armed with the power of a god and set out towards Terra itself. Horus would begin by making his way to the strategically important Trisolian system, which he would use as a staging ground to repair and resupply before making his final push. What Horus didn't expect, however, was that the Space Wolves Legion, led by their Primarch Leman Russ, would launch a surprise assault in an attempt to kill Horus before he could reach Terra.
But he failed. I know
Russ
that.
and several of his men would board the Vengeful Spirit, and using a series of markings left by the Knights Errant, they fought their way to Horus's position.
Well, basically,
The two
Space Wolf.
Primarchs would engage in a short but
Not surprising
bloody
because
battle.
Space
Horus
Wolves
would
are
tear
good
at
at
Russ with his talon,
melee.
but Russ, wielding the spear of the Emperor, would impale Horus in the gut, inflicting a devastating wound that bled light. Russ would hesitate in killing Horus, however, as the spear had cleansed some of the chaotic corruption from Horus, and instead of seeing a monster, he saw his brother once more. Horus would reject Russ's offer of being brought back to Terra to allow the Emperor to heal him, and would swipe at Russ, severely mauling the Space Wolf Primarch. Horus would then move in for the kill, raising Worldbreaker
everything's like
high to deliver the final
tragic.
blow. But a single Space Wolf would launch himself at Horus to aid his father. This wolf was joined by another, then another, until dozens of Space Wolves fought to keep the War Master occupied, while Bjorn the Fell-Handed could aid Russ in escape. Following this, Horus would order his legion's first captain, Ezekiel Abaddon, to pursue the wolves to the world of Yavin.
Okay, this guy is a fucking failure, okay? So basically, Horus, Abaddon, just to let you know, he made a 13 crusades. Each of it fucking failed on 40th millennium, and the 13th is so lucky he blew up the fucking KD planet.
While he recovered from his injuries. Secretly, though, Horus would begin to ponder the future, about how Russ could have very well slain him, had he not hesitated, and if this conflict was worth all the bloodshed. Nonetheless, he ordered that his forces make haste to Beta Garmon, the gateway into the Sol system.
Okay, Siege of Terra, this
Horus
is
was
one of the...
weak. Horus was a fool. He had the whole galaxy within his grasp, and he let it slip away.
So this is why Abaddon doesn't want
Horus's
Horus that
forces
much.
would finally enter the Sol system, utilizing the world of Mars, the capital of the Mechanicum Empire, as their staging ground. The Mechanicum world fell under the control of those loyal to Horus's cause, thanks to the promises that the War Master made to fabricate a general, Kelbor Hal. From Mars, Horus would destroy the naval bases upon Luna, Terra's moon, before launching his assault upon Terra itself.
Oh, speaking of which, guys, so basically, Siege of Terra is one of the brutal battle. It makes Stalingrad looks like a playground. Okay, this one, lots of death, civilian deaths, also lots of space marines who got killed, and also human auxiliary legion, which is the precursor of Imperial Guard, do get slaughtered. But they kind of lost is because I'm not going to say it here. Just let's finish.
Horus would command the battle from the bridge of his flagship, and after a long and bloody conflict, it appeared that victory was in Horus's grasp. But towards the end of the battle, Horus would lower the shields upon the vengeful spirit. Some claim that Horus did this out of sheer arrogance, wishing to use a psychic probe to witness his father's death, while others state that Horus wished to swiftly end the conflict due to the approach of loyalist reinforcements entering the Sol system. Whatever the truth of the matter, the Emperor of Mankind, alongside Sanguinius of the Blood Angels...
By the way, guys, on 40th millennium, I think the biggest battle would be the Battle of Cadia, which Cadia did blow up. And the 30th millennium, the biggest battle that is really that big, fucking big, is the Siege of Terra. But then again, Imperium did win because, I'm not going to say it right now. Hold on,
Rogel
no
Dawn of
spoilers.
the Imperial Fists, and several Space Marine Terminators, Custodians, and even members of the Imperial Army would be teleported aboard Horus's ship. The Emperor's forces would be scattered throughout the vengeful spirit, and would seek to fight their way to the bridge. Sanguinius would find Horus first. The Blood Angel's Primarch, in his anguish and disbelief at what his once close friend had become, demanded to know why Horus had betrayed their father and everything that the Imperium stood for. Horus would then attempt to sway Sanguinius to his side, but the Blood Angel's Primarch would not be tempted, and attacked his brother.
That's the problem. This is why
Despite his own
Sanguinius
powerful
died.
combination of skill and rage, Sanguinius was no match for what Horus had become, and Horus would slay his brother, butchering him with
One-shotted.
the Talon.
Yep, one-shotted.
The Emperor himself would arrive on the bridge soon after, and became distraught with grief and sorrow. Horus would mock the Emperor, declaring himself as the true ruler of humanity, and how even the Chaos Gods would bow before him. The Emperor would call Horus a fool, who had become corrupted by the very powers he sought to control, and the two would then face one another, doting father and beloved son, now bitter enemies. Despite being the most powerful psyker of the entire human species, the Emperor found that Horus was now his equal, thanks to his empowerment by the Chaos Gods. Despite everything Horus had done, the Emperor held back. While Horus was a traitor and corrupted by chaos, he was still his son. Horus took advantage and would crush his father's windpipe, rip his arm from its socket, and tear out one of his eyes before snapping the Emperor's spine over his knee. Before Horus could kill his father, a lone figure entered the bridge and selflessly threw him.
Okay, I'm going to explain this one. So, just to summarize this, what happened here, Sanguinis is one of the best melee combatants aside from Lehman Russ or let's say Lionel Johnson, but he got whacked because Horus is empowered by a chaos god. Then, when Sanguinis died, immediately his sons felt the Space Marine felt it. His sons, okay, the Blood Angels. The Emperor did appear and he tried to like fight Horus, but since Horus is like empowered by four Chaos Gods plus other buff, so they kind of fight off and Emperor did fucking lose. So this guy is an ordinary human being with black Horus, like with fucking steel balls, and suddenly he died. But actually, bought some time to Emperor to do some psychic juju and blast Horus into oblivion, as in like killing Horus immediately.
Himself at Horus to protect the master of mankind. Horus obliterated this figure with a thought, laughing madly at this casual display of power. The Emperor, now realizing just how far his son had fallen, would use all of his remaining power to deliver a bolt of pure psychic power
See, this is what I'm
straight
saying.
through Horus's heart, driving the corruption from his body. Horus then realized the folly of his actions, and begged that his father strike him down before the corruption took hold once more. The Emperor complied, and with a blast of psychic power so immense, Horus was slain utterly, with even his soul being erased from existence.
Yeah, he got obliterated. Yep.
The Emperor's body would be retrieved by Rogel Dawn, as the Imperial Fists Primarch made his way onto the bridge. Abaddon would make his way onto the bridge after that, and after tearing the talon from his Primarch's armor, he would order that the Sons of Horus make a hasty retreat. Horus's body would be interred within stasis upon the world of Malium, within the warp space rift known as the Eye of Terror, where it became a holy site for the Sons of Horus Legion.
This is where
But the temple would be
Chaos
raised.
Space Marines reside. This one. So yeah, on 13th Crusade they kind of like invaded. So they managed to like breach through. But that will be another topic. But they kind of like most of the legions retreated on this one, made their own demon planets, and they're using this as staging ground for attacks against Imperium in next few millennia again.
Invaded, and the corpse of the War Master, along with his armor and his mace, would be taken as trophies by the Emperor's Children Legion. Using this reserve of genetic material, the chief apothecary of the Emperor's Children, Fabius Bile, would create a perfect clone of Horus, and gift him his
But it's a
template
failure.
armor and mace.
But it's a
A
failure.
force of Astartes led by Abaddon would enter Bile's facility in order to destroy his gene father's body so that the Sons of Horus would no longer be bound to their past failures. Abaddon's forces
But he's
would
a
discover
failure!
that Fabius Bile had made multiple mutated and deformed clones of many of the Primarchs. As Bile revealed himself, Abaddon prepared to slay the apothecary, but the perfect clone of Horus would emerge to defend its creator. The clone of Horus would slay several of Abaddon's allies with Worldbreaker, who fought back
Boom.
desperately against this reborn Primarch. The clone would eventually come face to face with Abaddon himself. This clone would seem to remember the first captain, and greeted Abaddon as a father would a son. But Abaddon, now wielding the talon of Horus, drove its bladed fingers through the clone's chest, killing him. The remainder of the cloned Primarchs would be destroyed shortly thereafter, with seemingly only one managing to survive the carnage. And that concludes this edition of 40k Lore.
Okay, so what happened to the Emperor after he got grievously injured? Yes, he got entered into he got put on the golden throne to watch over the humanity, of course. And yep, he became a fucking skeleton and half dead. So anyhow, I'm going to end the stream right now, and I'm going to raid someone else here. Going to get back here. So yeah, I really like the story of the Warhammer. In fact, it's kind of like this. It's over the top, alright? It's over the top. At the same time, it's like really good, really good written story. I fucking love this shit. Uh, but at the same time, hold on. Going to like find some channels right now. Going to like pause the desktop audio because you will hear my voice. Yeah, it's a great story, and there's like a lot another lore example what happened to the emperor because I want to like cover the emperor part somewhere next 2 weeks, okay? But I might not concentrate on this because I want to like test out the Tower of Fantasy, but at the same time I'm not going to do it because there is like a new Sumeru update and I want to stream the Sumeru. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's raid SETI. So guys, anyhow, thank you for coming by. I do appreciate that you're hanging out, and I do appreciate Villain of Legend that you appreciate Warhammer at least. Okay, so anyhow, see you all somewhere Thursday, Thursday on my end. Goodbye for now, and take care, guys. Bye bye.